I know that the title of this video might sound like hyperbole, especially since I'm the one who made the game I'll be talking about, but I honestly think that this is one of the most extensive character creators out there. You see, I'm a sucker for character creators. I can get interested in a game that normally wouldn't pique my interest if it has a good character creator, or a way for you to customize your own character. Likewise, I'm immediately a bit more uninterested in a game, especially if it's a character-driven one, if you can't create your own player character, or at least affect your appearance in some way. If a game categorizes itself as an RPG, I'll be expecting some customization options for my character. So that's what I've added to my own game, and lots of it. I'm talking about the option to color basically every part of your character in any color you want, or any of the default colors we've picked out for you if the freedom of choosing completely on your own is a bit too overwhelming. So, what's the game that has this amazing character creator, you may ask? It's the visual novel RPG Mistwinter Bay that is currently being developed by me and my sister Wogglawooh. It takes place in the fictional fantasy town Mistwinter Bay that's run by you, the player. It has lots of characters and lots of choices that affect many things. It's a big game in general, so it's only natural that it has a very in-depth character creator too. If you kept up with our channel and devlogs, you might know that we posted a devlog specifically about the development of Mistwinter Bay's character creator about half a year ago. We've added a lot of player character sprites since then and some functionality, but we haven't really touched the core system of the character creator, that is, until 2 weeks ago. For a long time, my sister and I have been wanting a more in-depth character creator that allows you to pick your own colors for your character, primarily for the hair but other parts of the player character too. I've been putting this off since I was afraid that I have to work with shaders and stuff, and well, I don't know anything about shaders and don't really have time to learn with everything else I have to get done for the game. But now that we're about to release a new version of the demo for Mistwinter Bay pretty soon, I thought it was time to add the ability to pick colors for your character more freely. If for no other reason than because it looks impressive. I'd buy Mistwinter Bay if I saw this character creator along with the rest of the game, but there's also another reason why this update might be important. Performance. Updating the character creator with color options has improved some of the game's loading times, which is what I was after. This improvement meant that the loading time to get into the character creator on my computer was halved, from 18 seconds to 9. Doing this also reduced the general file size of the game, which is a bonus. How was this improvement possible? Well, Mistwinter Bay uses custom hand-drawn sprites for everything related to its characters. For the player character, that meant we needed hundreds upon hundreds of sprites to offer a good amount of player character customization options. Each set of eyes, hairstyles, mouths, outfits, and so on that had different color options would have multiple images to represent those colors. As an example, each hairstyle had 7 images for 7 different hair colors. As you can probably imagine, reducing that number to just 1 is a pretty big difference. Do the same with all other parts of the player character and you're looking at a massive improvement. Now, you might think something like, but wouldn't only having one color for everything reduce the amount of customization? You're not completely wrong by thinking that, since the base sprites look like this now, instead of the old versions that look like this. But these white sprites are actually quite magical. By being an off-white colors, the sprites can have built-in lighting and shading. Then any color can be added to it in the game and it looks like it was that color all along. By having the sprites white, or for some darker areas a light grey, the sprites can get as dark as black and basically still retain their shading. If they had been a specific color, or black, the shading wouldn't have looked as good if the brightness of the color increased or decreased. Some of the sprites have also been split into multiple parts in order to be colored separately and to maintain the black color of the line art. So we made all the necessary sprites white, split them up when needed and imported them into the game. Or I mean, my sister changed all the sprites for like a third time and spent a long time exporting the files while I spent much less time importing it into the game. Anyway, it took a few days to reach this realization with the white sprites though. I wasted quite a lot of time creating a couple of shaders that did, well, not what we actually wanted. If you don't know what a shader is, think of it as a way to draw things in a game. It can add effects and stuff, like something you might see by using layer effects in a program like Photoshop. I made a shader that could change the hue, saturation, brightness and contrast of a sprite by pulling on some sliders. Those sliders took quite a lot of work, but they were useful in the settings menu as well, so it was worth the work for that reason. But unfortunately, all the work I did with the shaders was kinda wasted. I didn't understand what I was doing, so I didn't really learn anything about programming. And the shaders couldn't be used because they didn't really want to cooperate without the game being forced to draw multiple versions of the game screen over and over again. As you can probably imagine, that's not good for performance, so I didn't even bother with shaders anymore at that point. Instead, my sister and I experimented with simply drawing the sprites in a specified color using the game engine's built-in methods. That worked like a charm as long as the sprites are white. So that meant I could finally add a color wheel that allows the player to save custom colors. By clicking on the wheel, you add a color's hue, like red, green, purple, and its saturation, which is the amount of pigment in the color, to one of 16 custom color slots. A slider then adjusts the value of the color, which makes it darker or lighter. You can see the color change live on the character as well as in a box close to the color wheel. These 16 custom user color slots carry over between save files and can be used on all parts of the player character that can be colored by the player. Most parts of the player character can be colored. The hair, the beard, the eyes, the eyeshadow, the lips, the crown, the earrings, and the outfit. The eyes and eyeshadow can even be colored independently. That means that the left eye can have one color and the right one another if you want to. There's a checkbox that turns that function on and off. The amount of customization varies between some designs for earrings and outfits. If there are no jewels in earrings, you can only change between gold and silver. Likewise, if there's no visible base of gold or silver, you can only change the color of the jewel. Some outfits have fewer parts, which means that the number of colors you can adjust is fewer. Most outfits utilize the maximum 4 colors though. As with the earrings and crowns, it's possible to change between gold and silver details for the outfits. We decided to keep gold and silver the only options for these parts since we imagine that those are the options people will choose anyway, and we want to keep the outfits at least a bit anchored to the rest of the game's character designs. There's nothing stopping you from turning your character into a neon rainbow though. If you ever have a hard time picking colors completely on your own, there are 16 default colors for everything, adjusted to whatever it is you're coloring. This means that the default hair colors aren't the same as the default lip colors and so on. This new color feature combined with all the other options, including the fairly recently added feature of adjusting the player character's height, gives you a lot of freedom to create a character that you would like to explore the world of Mistwinter Bay with. I, for one, am very pleased with this new addition. It finally feels like we reached the vision that we've had for a long time. Now we can add as many options for outfits, accessories, hair and so on as we want. Which for my sister probably means none since she's the one who has to draw those things. The character creator isn't perfect and neither is the coloring in all instances, but I believe it's more than enough. You can judge this version of the character creator once we release the updated version of Mistwinter Bay's demo. We assume it will be out sometime in January. The new demo will also feature all the quality of life improvements we made during the past year. All the 32 townsfolk, all buildings, all characters' first 3 hangouts, the townsfolk's negative reputation events, and hopefully the foreign leaders too, and many more things. Add Mistwinter Bay to your wishlist on Steam and follow it there if you want updates. Or follow Swordlake Entertainment on itch.io. Or subscribe to us here on YouTube. We will notify you when the new demo is out on Steam and itch. And that's everything I had to say today. Now I have a game to get back to. See you next time.